Coffee with Keto Simple. Keto Simple. My name is Dustin. I'm so glad you're here. This stream will be starting soon, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and settle in. We're building a strong and supportive community, so say hello in the chat, ask questions, and feel free to use super chats if there's anything that you want to see highlighted. Thank you for being here and being a part of this journey. Let's keep it positive and respectful as we connect and grow together. I can't wait to get started. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday to you, to me, to everyone. Happy Sunday. Whew, it has been a week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. And it has been a mix of doing the right things and not the right things. And realizing that I have some things to tighten up, okay? I've stayed consistent with my food, which I'm very, very happy with. I've been very good with that. I've been eating a lot of eggs, chicken, a lot of chicken thighs, lots and lots and lots of chicken thighs, some sausage patties, trying to just maintain and be where I need to be. So, I mean, with that, I'm very proud, especially for not feeling great most of the week. You know how I was and how I sounded last week, and that kind of drove through even on Tuesday night. If you were here and you watched Tuesday nights live, you would see how I was feeling then. And this week we napped a lot. I mean, it is very difficult to not want to nap when you've got a napping baby. And I know we should probably, and we even talked about before her birth, was not letting her or not holding her the entire time, but that's gone way out the window. But that just goes, you know, that goes along with just trying to recover. And I mean, sometimes that's just what we need, right? I mean, that's just what we need. We need to rest, some relaxation, just time. But at the same time, I had something happen that I don't take lightly. I was supposed to moderate a live stream Friday afternoon. I was very excited when they had reached out and asked me to do so. I had given my word that I would be there. It was on my calendar, but something that I didn't think about at the time is I did not set an alarm. Excuse me. Let me have a little bit of this grape salty. I still have some. Oh, yeah. Grape salty, hashtag Team Grape. If you know, you know. But I didn't have that extra layer. I didn't have it in place. I didn't have an alarm set. I didn't think about it. Now that's moving forward, something that I will do. Typically, when it comes to early live streams, something I think about. But this one was supposed to be noon my time, and I'm typically awake and moving and doing all the things, right? But we had laid back down, and I slept through. I woke up at 1 p.m., missed it, and I felt awful. I reached out to them, let them know. You know, but that doesn't change the fact that I wasn't there when I said I would be. And I'll be honest, that one doesn't make me feel good. It makes me very embarrassed. I even let them know. I was like, that's embarrassing to me. Now, whether or not they are worried about it like me is a whole other story, right? But it doesn't matter. But instead of just brushing it off, I want to talk about it because that's a part of us growing, right? That's big, that's part of what growth looks like. Not just food accountability, but personal accountability. We are trying to be who we say we are. It's not just the wins, it's the moments when we realize that there's something that we need to fix, something that needs to be improved. And for me, that's being more structured, more intentional, and putting systems in place so it doesn't happen again. And there's some other things that I want to talk about because I talk a lot about my own integrity, about what this channel means to me, because something else that obviously is very important to me and something that we talk about here all the time is I want to continue to be very, very clear about as this community grows is inclusivity. Everyone is welcome here. It doesn't matter if you're keto, carnivore, low carb, animal-based, plant-based, vegan, whatever. This space is about having an open, about having open, honest conversations about health, lifestyle, and nutrition without turning it into something personal or divisive. Sometimes it's difficult to not be divisive. There's a lot of divisive things going on in the nutrition world. There's a lot of things going on in the nutrition world that are political. It's hard to not allow divisive things like politics to come into what's going on, because in the political sphere right now, there's a lot of things going on, whether we agree with them or not agree with them, whether we think they're enough or not enough, whatever. We can disagree and we can see things differently, but we are not, and I should say we are going to do that with respect. I may not agree with you, but I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to say you're dumb or stupid or that doing whatever is bad for you, unless, obviously you're doing something that is legitimately bad for you. And I would not feel like a decent human being if I didn't try and point that out, even though we know that pointing those things out is never going to work. But at the same time, being inclusive does not mean we avoid hard conversations. If there are claims being made, no matter what side they come from, that are untrue, misleading, potentially harmful, we have to be willing to talk about them. It's not an attack. Having open and honest discussions is not an attack on the person. It's analyzing the data, not a personal attack. And we can't allow analyzing data, talking about the difference between carnivore and vegan, because they are on opposite ends of the nutritional ideal spectrum, right? We have a lot of idealism coming into veganism, and there's a lot of idealism coming into carnivore as well. But we can't be nasty to people. We can't let our own biases blind us to that. We have to make sure we are open, honest, because again, what are we looking to do here? We're here to look at the data. We're here to ask questions. We're here to think critically, because at the end of the day, this isn't about defending a label or a diet. It's about helping people make better, more informed decisions for their health. Because again, what are we here for? We're here to try to help people, again, find sustainable ways to live and thrive on a lifestyle that they can, again, find consistency in. And what that looks like is going to vary from me to you. But I don't think that we should allow disagreements in the data to come between what we're trying to build here, because we're never going to agree fully. This comes from a community post that was posted on another channel about the nutrition value, excuse me, the nutritional value between dried pinto beans and whether it was cooked or raw burger, cooked or raw beef. It went down and was talking about, the differences in protein and all these things, right? And I went together and I put together, some information that, that was relevant to me. And I don't believe that in this information was any sort of, I never put malicious intent behind anything that I post. If it's there, if it's something that comes across, that's definitely something that we can address, and I would apologize for, because that is never my intent. My intent is data driven specifically. Because again, I don't care how you eat. I don't care how you live. I don't care how you are doing what you're doing, as long as you're thriving. My goal here is to hopefully make sure we get as many people healthy, off medication, seeing doctors less, because one of the biggest things that we do talk about, one of the biggest political divides, is healthcare. Whether you're on the healthcare for all or whatever you're looking for, it doesn't matter. Healthcare is expensive, and how can we help people bypass those expenses but by eating better. And one of the things that I've thought about a lot in the last couple of weeks is, and things that I see, on Twitter, things that I see people post about, especially when it comes to the whole cholesterol code movie that has come out. If you haven't watched it, please go and do so. I will, again, post the link for that for Amazon here shortly. I have to look it up again. But if everything that our doctors was telling us to do, if everything the guidelines were meant to do, if they were all meant to make us healthy, then why are we the least healthy we've been in 200 years? Even to the point where our life expectancy has started to decrease. So, it's just something that we have to think about. But again, this is a place for everyone. That is not up for debate. But if you are here, there is going to be discussions. And it may not be something you like. It may not be something that you want to hear. It may not be something that you agree with. But this is a place for discussions, whether they're easy or hard, maybe divisive. But we can't have open and honest conversations without being open and honest. Again, we're not here attacking feelings or people. We're attacking data. It's the status quo. Because if everything we were told was correct, we wouldn't be having this discussion. We would be off living our lives happy and healthy, footloose and fancy free. But we're not. Every single one of us is here because we've had health issues. We are overweight, high blood pressure, whatever the case is. We're diabetic, all the things. But being here and being a part of the conversation is very important. Whether you feel offended about the information or not, that's something that I can't help. All I can do is try and provide the data the best way I can. Am I always right? Absolutely not. I'm a moron. Maybe not so harsh, but you understand what I mean. It's going to take all of us to figure this out. Not just me, not just Dr. Barry, not just Dave Feldman, not just Nick Norwitz, not just any single one of us. It's going to take all of us to figure this out. And we have to siphon and figure and sift through all the disingenuous, all of the frivolous claims that get made, that get posted up, and we have to look at them and break them apart. That's what we have to do on every single thing. If somebody comes in here and says, carnivore is the only way, and if you're not carnivore, then you're not doing anything right, then no, we can't agree on that, because we know that is not true. The same thing with vegan. Vegan isn't for everybody. Keto isn't for everybody. The only one I think that is there's nothing for any, and there's nothing one standard size fits all. There isn't. Because sure, are there people out there who truly need lion diet? Absolutely. Are there people who can't have a little bit of pepper? Absolutely. But that's the exception, not the rule. But we have to dig through that, and we have to break that apart, and we have to be open and honest about it, and we can't let the dogmatic nature of our and biases and all those things interfere with helping the majority. There's millions and billions of people on this planet, and we have to help them. That's my battle cry. That's where I'm at all the time. We have to help everybody. There's so many people who need help. We have no choice but to work together and be inclusive. But again, as I said, being inclusive doesn't mean we avoid hard conversations. It doesn't mean we're not going to disagree with each other, because we can't dig through all of this information, 100+ years of bad science, disingenuous health claims. All these things have to be broken apart to figure out the path And again, it's going to vary. There's a lot of nuance. But I couldn't not have this conversation today because that's the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. And I'm not here to divide. Now, again, as I said, there's always going to be information that is divisive, regardless if we want it to be or not. That's the nature of data. That's the nature of information, the nature of perspective. But we have to be able to kind of look past that and look, how do we help the most people? I'm in all kinds of, I go to carnivore, I go into carnivore lives and stuff, and I ask, how do we help the most people? I go into I'm always asking, how do we help the most people? How do we help the most people? That's the most important question. How do we help the most people? But anyway, I've been talking long enough. I know that Rick keeps up with his chat, and I do not. And that's okay. I saw that Rick is here. I saw that a lot of you are here. And I need to get in here, and we need to talk about this because, let me pop out the chat over here so I can see what's going on currently. Brian is here. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing? Good morning, Dustin, everyone. It's the last Sunday in April 2026. That's crazy. I can't believe we're that. Time flies. The older you get, the faster it goes. Sandy Blythe is here. Good morning, my dear. How are you? She says, good morning from Florida. Evelyn is here. Good morning. How are you doing, my dear? So very glad to see you. And Sherry Lynn is here. She's saying hello to all the people. Just getting up, getting ready for work. Well, that's wonderful. I hope you have a wonderful day. Doesn't work you too hard. Mr. Gugahan, how are you doing, my friend? Good Sunday morning. Dishes done, laundry in the washer, and on my second cup of coffee. That reminds me, I haven't had a single sip of coffee yet today. A single sip of coffee at all today. Now I've had my sip of coffee. Oh, so delicious. With Mr. Bucky there. Evelyn has not made coffee yet, working on it. We'll get it done. Cindy is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Cindy. So very glad to see you. And again, I knew Rick was here. He says, welcome from the Quack Zone.
Let's get dangerous.
That's right. There's a lot of talk in the chat about my audio being good today. Has my audio not been good before? Nobody said anything. You got to let me know these things. I said I fixed it, but I didn't know it was broken. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I didn't fix anything. I didn't know it was broken. Y'all didn't say nothing. Y'all got to tell me. Brian is in the house. Hello, Mr. Doyle. How are we doing, sir? Good morning to you. And Andy is here. Good morning, Andy. So very glad to see you. I hope you and Susan are having a wonderful time being reunited. You had been away for a couple of days, maybe a week or so, house sitting, doing all the things. But welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just trying to scroll through the comments. Andy says, I'm anxious about the ball that I dropped. It's just, it may be a little more, it's probably anticlimactic to most people, but it bothers me. And because I'm the one who writes these things and puts the things together, that's how it feels to me. It's like I dropped the ball. I felt bad all day Friday. I was so excited. They had reached out to me Monday or Tuesday and said, hey, we want you to moderate this live stream on Friday. And I was excited. So it was an important live stream to me too. It was going to mean I was going to be a moderator on a new channel. That's I don't know. Maybe I'll think about whether I talk about what it was or not, because you guys probably should go and listen to it. I didn't actually get a chance to hear it yet because I wasn't involved. I haven't had a chance to go back and listen to it yet, but yeah, I was supposed to be there. Gave my word that I was going to be there. Those things that are very, very important to me. I don't like disappointing people, especially when it comes down to something as silly as just oversleeping. It was very, very upsetting to me. And I'm trying to go through. Coach Angela is here. Good morning, Angela. How are you doing? Rick says the Black Menace has entered the room. I'm not quite sure what that's a reference to. I am wearing a black T-shirt, but what's new about that, really? I was telling Chris the other day, he had posted things. He was like, I'm wearing a red T-shirt. And I'm like, you can have all the red T-shirts. I remember I wore red T-shirts back a few times in like middle school or high school. Just a color that doesn't, okay. And it's one of those things like when you can wear something and everybody thinks you look wonderful in it, right? You put on a dress shirt and I was like, oh, you look so good in it. But if you don't think you look good in it, there's no amount of anybody can tell you anything about it that makes you feel okay in it. Like I've got some dress shirts that I have because you got to have dress shirts. You've got to have button-up shirts. But I know that they're appropriate for the events, but I don't feel comfortable in them. I don't feel like me in them, and that's important. Andy says, hi, Rick from Miami. You're very popular lately in the chats. Rick is gaining all the notoriety that I don't think he ever thought he wanted. I'm going to brush my beard out a little bit. Oh, yeah. Feels good. Yeah. There we go. There we go. There we go. Happy little trees. There we go. Mr. Biscuit's in the house. Hello, Mr. Biscuit. If you haven't seen Tuesday night's live, it's hilarious. At least it was when I was doing it. It may not be so funny in hindsight, but Mr. Biscuit's here. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Biscuit. Be more serious. Be more serious now. Heart attack chicken. We do cook them a little bit different because we have different cookware, but I do cook mine in a 5-quart. I cook mine in a 5-quart thing. I have 3 family packs that I have to cook today. That means I get to eat a lot of chicken today. I'm excited about chicken. That crispy skin. Then I pull the skin off, and then I pull and eat all the meat. And then I have the chicken. I dip a little bit of barbecue sauce. Little sugar-free or zero sugar barbecue sauce. Yeah, it's delicious. I know that you're not a big fan of sauces, Rick. Maybe you are. I don't know, but delicious. Ooh, I'll tell you what I need. I need a good hack or a replacement recipe for the hot mustard that they have at McDonald's. That stuff is delicious. Oh my goodness, that stuff is so good. Bacon Runner is here. Hello, Donna Ray. Very glad to see you, my dear. How are you? Good morning. Well, I'm not being notified of anyone's lives. Well, you are here. You made it. You're winning. Let's go. You woke up. You woke up this morning and you're winning. Welcome. Glad to see you. I'm a little stuffy still, but Sharon is here. Good morning, Sharon. There we go. That's what I clicked on it now. When you click on things and you want it to do what it's here to do. There we go. Good morning. There we go. Good to see you. Sandy is giving kisses to Milton. He would probably bite you in the nose. We had fun yesterday. We went to the soccer game. They scored a goal. They scored their first goal. I mean, I don't know what it is. Our kids, and I'm not trying to be mean about our kids, but our kids kind of came into this like they've had 3 games and I think 4 practices. 3 games, 4 practices. So they came into this not knowing anything about soccer. And I feel like they're going up against kids who have played soccer much longer, because these kids are way better. They're making like all these goals. There's like 6 or 7 goals to our 1. And I know it's all about just getting them to understand competitiveness, being on a team, but they're just running around our kids are running around in circles. They're like letting them go by with the ball. They're like, no, please, after you. And I know it's just for them to get out there and have a good time and get exercise. But it's like when you are watching a team who has no idea what's going on versus a team that you can tell has been working a lot longer than, 4 practices and 3 games? They're way more advanced than our team. I mean, it really should be evenly matched, at least somewhat. But I feel like that's not the way that it is. Like, I feel like our team is just like, well, we're here. Yeah, I slept through it because it was supposed to be it was noon to 1, and we had laid down, and for some reason I just didn't register that it was Friday. It was in our calendar because Shannon and I have a joint calendar. It shows up on our phones, and I woke up at 1. It was going off. It was like the calendar notification was going off, and I didn't set an alarm, and I felt so awful. Maybe if I tell you what it was for, it might even make it even worse. So earlier in the week, Coach Alyssa had reached out to me and wanted me to moderate the live stream that Nisha, and it was Nisha, Kim Howerton, and Coach Alyssa. So I was supposed to moderate that and be PhD kind of representation in the chat as well. And I missed it, and I feel so bad. I mean, that really was a gut punch to me. So, I mean, it was an important one for me. I was excited. I really wanted to hear that one. I was so excited. So excited. Miss Booby Goats Aaron is here. Good morning. And people are asking how they're doing, asking how things are going. And Rick is making me feel worse by saying I've never slept through an appointment. Well, thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate you. Oh, my goodness. Typical. Yeah, Jeff Fuzz here. Good morning, PhD people. Good morning. Yeah. Like, also, like, our schedule is so topsy-turvy. Like, we'll be up at, like, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, go to bed, get up, and take the girl to school, get her there by 8:30, come home, do things. We got a sleeping baby. It's just like our stuff is just like crazy all the time. So like when we can take a nap, it's just like, but I mean, I'll be up working at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night doing stuff, sleeping at noon, but awake at 1 in the morning. I don't know. We just don't have a set schedule, but I should have and will in the future set alarms for what's necessary. Yes, Rick, because I'm a poor person. Poor people are all here. Of course, furry ones. Of course, Milton is welcome. Here's Cindy. Cindy says, when my kids were babies, I spent the time doing chores I needed to get done while they slept. Yeah. And again, that's what we should have done, but we did not. And now she's so codependent, she can't sleep by herself. I had nothing really to do with that. I've only got a chance to actually nap with her like 2 or 3 times since she's been born. But anyway, I digress. Hey, Mason is in the house. Good morning. I'm glad to see you, my dear. How are you? And Amy. Good morning, Amy. Glad to see you, my dear. Smoothie is here. Hello, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All the people are talking. And Rick says the heart attack diet is all about lowering stress and having fun. Yes, trying to lower stress and have fun that's what we want to do, but I don't know how much it really works. Because I feel like no matter what I do with my diet, stress is like, peekaboo, I'm here. So the other night we were sitting, and I don't know where, I'm not an electrician by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have a friend coming over later this week to take a look and do an inspection on our wiring. But Friday night we were sitting, and Shanda was in her office doing work, and I was in the bathroom. And she starts hollering for me, and I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, I call her. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And she's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in the bathroom. I was like, told you I was going to the bathroom. And she goes, oh, the power just went out in my office. And I'm like, okay, well, let me get this handled, and I'll go downstairs and check the breaker. And so I go downstairs, no breakers have been tripped. And I'm like, well, that's weird. But like none of the outlets and none of the lights in her office were working. Everything was out. Like, and then like because in all the bedrooms we have ceiling lights. You come in, you flip the light switch on, the ceiling light comes on. And they weren't working. Their outlets were working, but those weren't working. So I don't know. There was a big storm going on. There was a huge storm going on. Like there was tornadoes and stuff going on here Friday. Not too far from us. I mean, we didn't really see that big of an impact. And yeah, so I'm going to have an electrician friend come over and kind of do a diagnostic and see what's going on, because we didn't smell anything. We didn't smell any like thing burning or nothing like that. We, just kind of walked around a little bit, see what we could see. And, but yeah, like all the breakers weren't tripped, or none of the breakers were tripped. We kind of reset all the ones to a degree that nothing happened. Then she was just in her office and they all just came back on. So that was really weird. So we're going to have an electrician friend come and take a look and see what's going on. So, I mean, I have no idea. But glad to see all of you people here. Rick says we are here for the Sunday morning entertainment. Entertainment's probably, a little bit over-exaggeration. Oh, my goodness. Donna's saying, do you guys realize how many times we might see each other today? Yeah. Sandy says, show Dustin some love. I would appreciate that very much. Sean Bradley's in the house. Hello, my friend. He says, hiya, Mr. Biscuits. Oh, my goodness. And Rick says, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. That's true. It's true. There we go. Thomas is here. Good morning, Thomas. So very glad to see you, my friend. How are you? So very glad to see you. Mr. Biscuit says pinto beans are musical fruit. That's data-driven. It is. And I don't like beans. Maybe I'm biased because beans are gross. I don't like them. That's a personal thing. I've never liked beans. I mean, the only beans I've ever really eaten were green beans. But even still, like the shell of the bean is really good, but like the little bean thing inside of it, I don't like. It's just the mushy flavor, and it's like beans to me are little pellets of dirt, and I don't like them. Now, if you like them, cool. Have my share. All you want. Go ham. Have a good time. But I don't like beans. And I'm very glad that my lifestyle doesn't incorporate them anyway because they're too high in carbohydrates. Green beans are fine, like 4 grams of carbohydrates per serving, if you're into that type of thing, right? Rick goes, be like me and avoid the doctor. Yes. All the wonderful people are hello here saying that they're here. Last time I went to the doctor, my van was not even built yet. Did you build it like from scratch? Did you buy like a fender and a second fender and like a shell and the floorboards? Did you just do it all? Stacy, I hope you and Ken are doing okay, my dear. How are you both doing? I just want to let you both know that I love you both very, very much. Hey, Rick goes, are you saying I'm unhealthy? I would say you're probably one of the healthier people that we know. I think it's a testament to go like, how much meat gets a bad rap. And then someone like you who've only eaten meat for the last 150 years. I mean, it would be kind of interesting to see what, to go and do something like, I know you don't have the money, but like go and get like the citizen science bundle from Dave Feldman's website. The one that is ownyourlabs.com, like a citizen science bundle is like $500, $512, $520, something like that. It's like $500. So it's like you go and you pay for that and you just get a huge gambit. I don't know if it's all of them because they have some pretty expensive tests on there, but I don't know if the citizen science one includes all of those and if it's like a affordable bundle or whatever. But $500 is a lot. But I figure we probably spend more than that. A lot of people spend more than that going to the doctor annually on things. I don't even know what they're getting done that really don't tell them anything. So I'm just curious. I'd like to kind of pick Dave Feldman's brain on the idea of that citizen science bundle that's on his website. Oh. Yeah, and A. Mason's asking Amy how her dad is doing. Yes, these are questions that we want to have. And Stacy says that they are doing well. I'm glad. Yeah, here's Rick says fix the background noise. Great job on the audio. I didn't know there was background noise to begin with, so you're welcome. I did a good job that I didn't even know about. Jeffafa says, I figured out when you have an achy cold, you shouldn't try adding food to see if you tolerate it. Interesting. Donna Ray says, I retired 2 years ago today. Tavaro. Tavaro is a word that I just made up just now. Tomorrow is my 2-year carniversary. Well. Congratulations on both of those things. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Sandy says audio is spot on today. Is it not? I mean, I don't know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Angela says, I was going to ride out of town to go to my friend's church, but it is misting rain, so going to drive. Probably a good plan. And Rick says they mentioned it before, but it had a thumping sound. I thought that it had been taken care of, because nobody had mentioned it again for a long time. Lance is in the house. Good morning, Lance. How are you doing? And Stacy says, we had a great time going to see Ash and Chris. We sure needed that enjoyable time after the past year. Those two are the absolute best. They are amazing. I'm glad I got to see them a couple of weeks ago. If not for just a very, very short, brief little amount of time, about a half hour, 45 minutes. But it was well worth it and some good old hugs. Evelyn says, I received some bad news. My mom is in the hospital. When she's released, it will be with hospice, trying to plan a trip between prom and graduation for my senior. Yeah, that's always rough. I mean, there's no way. I mean, just know that we love you, and anything you need, let us know. It's just losing a parent's hard. Yeah, I mean, There's no way to lie. There's no upside to this. I mean, it's rough. And just let you know that we love you, you know? And you need anything, just let us know. I'm very sorry about it. Let's see. Sandy says that she's going to put a bucket out when it starts to rain where they're at, and they'll mail it to you. Can you imagine if we just mailed like water to each other? Brenda Foley is here. Welcome, Brenda. Glad to see you. Karen is here. Good morning, Karen, over a low carb spin. Welcome. Glad to see you both. I always say both because there's two people in your picture. And I know that like your channel is two people, but I know it's usually only Karen talking here. But still, my brain is going to do what my brain does. Yeah, and that's exactly where my cold comes from. The little one. She's been snotty. So like, you know, you're holding on to her and she's like she scratched herself in the nose yesterday and she was really upset about it. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Mason told Biscuit that we had fun on Tuesday Nights Live. It was a lot of fun. It was always fun to laugh and have a good time. Rick says turmeric root, mustard seeds, and fermented peppers for the mustard hot sauce. Delicious. So Rick is going to go for a ride to Ace Hardware. Donna Ray says, I lost 2 pounds. Hubby said it's probably muscle. I mean, maybe. Could be water. Could be a combination. Because I want to say that I remember there was a lecture by Dr. Stephen Finney. And he was talking about, well, because Dr. Stephen Finney is not really a fan of fasting. He doesn't think we should be fasting because he thinks because we can lose up to a quarter pound of what he would consider lean body mass each day when we fast, which I don't necessarily know if he is taking into account autophagy or not. Because I think if you are fasting, your body's not going to, or typically should not prioritize healthy lean body mass. It's going to target other things, damaged cells, you know, things like that, things that need to get things that need to go away. But I mean, there's a lot of water weight, there's muscle, there's fat. And like the thing about like when you get to a certain point weighing every day, I mean, even when you were not in goal or anywhere near goal, weighing every day shouldn't be something that we like, oh, I'm up to 0.2 pounds a day. I might as well just give up. No, you're looking at trends. Weighing yourself daily should be for trends. What is the trend? Are you trending up? Are you trending down? But I mean, I've fasted before. On the last day of my fast, I went up like 4 or 5 pounds. I didn't drink 4 or 5 pounds of water that day. I don't know what caused it. It wasn't food. I hadn't eaten anything. And I mean, 4 or 5 pounds of water is quite a bit. That's almost a gallon of water. So what, a gallon of water is 8 pounds, something like that. So the body does weird stuff. But yeah, 2 pounds, hubby. I mean, I know you're pretty lean from the video and stuff that you put out. You look pretty lean. So I would say like, I don't know, 2 pounds is probably a combination of like water, inflammation, maybe some muscle, but I would say it's difficult to lose 2 pounds of muscle in a day. This movie says, I've heard that if you look at the map of fires, it's the same as the path of the hurricane that went through last. I'm not sure what that is. Amy says, my husband tells me when I lost 2 pounds, I just pooped. I mean, that's a possibility too. I mean, you know, I doubt it's having a 2-pound bowel movement is probably pretty difficult, but I probably have accomplished that in my life at least once or twice. It's like if you've ever watched there's a South Park episode where they measure poop and they measure it in units of Keurigs, like Katie Couric. Everyone's talking to Amy. And look, Christy is here. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Christy. Well, glad to see you. And Charger says, I'm unable to sleep when the sun is out. Your circadian rhythm is just on point. What can you say? Mine is all kinds of jacked up. Christy says, I love the intro. Watching from the beginning at double speed to catch up. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoy. PhD is not as fun as HAD. I don't know if that kind of goes through my head. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Angela says I got less than 5 hours of sleep. Not good. I was out of town babysitting, got home at 11:30. Oh my goodness. So go back to sleep, get a rest, get some rest. Brian says Abby and I are heading out for 3 miles, listening along the way. Well, that's fantastic. I hope you enjoy your walk together, and it's honoring. It's still hard for me even doing this. Like I've done like almost 200 episodes of this, right? 200. I mean, I don't know how many I've got exactly. I can look at my analytics here and see, but let me see. Oh, it's okay. 141 episodes, maybe? No, that 141 episodes is what it says. That's what I've got in my playlist. I don't necessarily know if that's all of them. It seems like I've been doing it much longer than that. I mean, that's 3 years, almost 3 years. So maybe that probably does check out. Almost 3 years. That probably does check out then. I was thinking it was more, but 141 episodes, might be 142 today, whatever. I'm sure I've missed some of the, I got to go back and make sure that they're all accounted for, all 3 years worth. But yeah, that's pretty nuts. But the fact that it's still surprising to me that people still show up to hang out with me every Sunday, especially as early as I do this. Because when I first started doing this, I was like, nobody's going to show up. No one's going to be here. And yet here you are. It's still like beyond impressive to me. And Mr. Gugahan says, working on lowering my insulin resistance and elevated blood pressure with natural remedies such as herbal teas, supplements, and exercise. How is your sleep, Mr. Gugahan? I would say I would look at your sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting impactful, meaningful, restful sleep? Because poor sleep is going to increase your cortisol and have a big impact on your insulin. That's going to impact your blood pressure. And yeah, you can mitigate that with like exercise, supplements, and teas and stuff. But I mean, the most impactful, meaningful thing you can do is to start with the root cause of most of it. I mean, you're already working on the diet. You're doing pretty good with that from what we understand, right, Mr. Gugahan? You're here. You know what to do as far as eating goes. You know, you've hopefully streamlined what you're doing for yourself. How is your sleep? I think, sleep is one of those things that is so very valuable that we overlook. I mean, it's almost like, especially here in the United States, it's a badge of honor to, I only need 3 hours of sleep a night and I'm good to go. Well, are you? Is that enough sleep for you? Now, there's people who probably can't sleep 8 hours a night. Their body doesn't do it. But I also think that, and I've seen not studies, but I've seen historical documentation across a lot of different societies and civilizations that have talked about first sleep and second sleep. So my understanding is with first sleep and second sleep is you go to bed. It's when sun goes down, you kind of do the thing. You lay down, you go to bed, you go to sleep, and you sleep for about 4 hours. And then you're up for about an hour or two, maybe 3 hours in the middle of the night. And then you go back to sleep, and then you sleep for a few more hours, for 3 to 4 more hours. And that's broken up. So you have 8 hours of sleep, but it's broken up over the course of, time. And obviously that's very difficult for us to do right now as a society because we are time constrained. Most of us, we're in bed by 11:30, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We're back up at 4, 3, or 4, 5, 6 in the morning because we have to go to work. We've got to fit so much into every day. Especially if you're going to work, you may have an hour commute each way, half-hour commute each way. Then you've got an hour worth of lunch, and you have to take an hour lunch at work. And then that was one of the best things when I was working remote with the last job that I had is I logged in at 7. I was in the house, logged in at 7, logged out at 3. 8 hours. Didn't have to take a lunch. Could take a break or two. Nothing was like super concrete. Didn't have to take a lunch. Not a 30-minute, not an hour lunch, but jobs make you take that hour lunch because, you're supposed to take it. But I'm thinking we're grown-ups here. As long as you're not forced to work through a lunch or forced to not take a lunch, you should be able to cut your day shorter by an hour. That's where working remote's so important. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are not necessarily against or for working remote, but a lot of people have this idea that working remote means laziness or not doing your job or whatever. But really, not having to drive an hour each way, and then if you didn't take a lunch, you're shaving 3 hours off your day right there alone. But yeah. So Mr. Guggenheim's talking about, so I'm not going to bring it up because it's a little bit further down on the chat, but he's talking about, he's like, I could sleep better, always get up several times a night to pee, diet is solid. So when I am not utilizing my CPAP machine, I get up every 2 hours to pee like clockwork. So I would talk to your doctor, see about getting a sleep study, and if you don't already have one, get a CPAP. If you have a CPAP, try to get it dialed in better. Because I think sleep is going to be the major thing. Especially if you wake up and your pillow's wet or damp, there's telltale signs of really poor sleep, especially like sleep apnea, snoring, all these things where you're not sleeping. You can feel like you're sleeping good, but you're not. You're not getting restful, impactful sleep. So I think that's very, very important to take a look at. So again, I'm not giving any kind of medical advice. I'm telling you to talk to your doctor. See about getting a sleep study. What can they do? And Rick's talking about the one loose wire nut. Yeah, hopefully they can come through and get a chance to take a look at that and hopefully, get a good handle on it, make sure there's nothing terribly wrong. I mean, our house is a 2004 house, so it's relatively new and, was, a new construction when, we're the first family to live here. So hopefully there's nothing too bad, but you never know. You never know. It could have been not done perfectly correct or whatever. And Rick also says, my meter can have loose connection. Let's see. He said, my meter had a loose connection a couple years ago. I waited till the power went out and fixed it. Oh my goodness, Rick, you are crazy. Kelly, the Missouri Carnivore, says, good morning, Dustin and everyone. Welcome. I think you're already gone. You were going to church. I think I saw in the things here. Look at that. Look at this. Rick and I agree on something food related, something that's gross. Beans are gross. I agree so much. I've never liked them. They just make me gag. I hate them. They're gross. And Thomas says, I'm being entertained by the keto pirate. Who's the keto pirate? Better not be me. I mean, I don't know why, but whatever. Arr. This one, should I be like that pirate or this pirate? This one or this one? People are saying hello. Brenda says, I knew I had a soybean allergy before keto. Recently decided or discovered that I have an allergy to all legumes. Peanut butter runs my glucose real high. Yeah, peanut butter is one of those ones that's really weird. I try not to eat it very often, but sometimes just the call of peanut butter is kind of hard. I just want some. I like peanut butter and cheese, which is weird. So it's not like something that I want to have all the time, but sometimes I just really want peanut butter and cheese. I'll tell you what I always love is like peanut butter, bologna, and cheese. I know, sounds weird, tastes good. Yeah, Rick, you've got good sounding audio. Everything sounds fine when you have a good, deep, good everything, and everything works really well. Yeah, this is where Kelly said that he's on his way to 8 a.m. church service. So I'll be back early before I go Carnivore Sunday School as the guest with John and Juliet. My live will be at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Welcome. Well, I think I saw that that link got put in there for everything. So that'll be good. And Angela says, I dropped 9 pounds in 5 days fasting 2 weeks ago. Also felt horrible. Have never had that experience fasting. Sometimes, like if I feel bad, I stop to fast. There's no, and I'm talking like not more than just like that 18-hour kind of like right before you go to bed kind of slump that you kind of feel where you're like, you can kind of feel kind of hungry before you go to bed. But like if I wake up and I don't feel good, I will break my fast and I'll eat. There's no point for me, no point trying to push through something that isn't feeling right. It's all, you can always break it, reset, and start a fast again. It's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't push through a fast if I didn't feel right. Good morning, Kathy. Welcome. Good to see you. Good morning. Rick says, sleep like the predator, not the prey. That's right. And I'm glad to see all of these live links being put in here. It makes me feel good. Rick says, in bed by 11, up by 6:30. That's great. And Rick's never experienced remote work. Sarah is here. This is my sister. Say hello to my sister, Sarah. I have a bone to pick with her. She was in town where I live and didn't see me. She lives far, far away. She lives like 1,000 miles away. And she didn't visit me when she was in town. She was in town for just 2 days. I told her I'm upset with her, but I'm not angry. I mean, I had to hear secondhand that she was in town. But hey, what are you going to do? But anyway, I love her, but I'm going to beat her up. Oh, my goodness. Christy says, my buddy does that first sleep, second sleep thing naturally. When I retire, I'll be able to do it. You're going to be retiring in like 2-3 years or something like that, Christy? And like at a young age, though. I mean, you're only a couple years older than me. And Rick says, all my customers who set up remote work experience gains in productivity. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much more productive you can be if you don't have to go somewhere and sit in traffic for hours. Like if you're exhausted when you get to work from being in stupid traffic, like when I had a job where I worked like on the other side of town for like 12 years. And you never knew what you're going to be getting into. You get on the interstate and it's like a legitimate like roll of the dice. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know how bad. You could leave and be late. You can leave on time and be late. Or you can leave on time and be really early. You could either be like 15 minutes early or 20 minutes late. You have no control over it either. And our company had even gone to a no tardy system. So like, and they do that. I don't know why they do that. Like there's no tardies or whatever. They just look at trends. And it's like, you've been late a bunch. Okay. I leave at the same time every day. I'm either here early or I'm here late. I'm not going to leave and try to get to, because if I left earlier, I would just get there earlier most days, and that's not productive for me. I don't want to be at work longer than I have to. You know? And Lance says, I love when I get to work from home. I get way more done in far less time, but I miss the interactions and the pulse of my work. I did not miss interactions at my job at all. I mean, even when we were like, so the one job that I had the job that I lost during the pandemic was I had been working remote for a year because of the pandemic. The job I had before that was I was there for 12 years. We worked in an office. And then for most of that time, our meetings, even though we were in office, were remote. We sat at our desk and had a meeting with everybody else sitting at their desks. We didn't go and look for a conference room and sit in the conference room. No, we did it remote. Headphones, video cameras. So what did it really matter if we were or were not in the office? I mean, we had a couple of employees who lived across country, so they were they weren't required to be in the office. But almost everybody else was required to be in office a few days a week, except for those exceptions. But like, I mean, it's so much more productive. You don't want people stopping by your desk. Did I like the people that I worked with at the job I had for 12 years? Absolutely. But had I been able to work from home, I would have probably liked that so much more to save so much more time. 12 years, an hour, basically like half hour, 45 minutes to an hour each way, each day for how long? 12 years. How much time would I have gotten back for my own life? And then with the job that I had before as the pandemic hit, I didn't have to take a lunch unless we were getting paid for it. Like we would take like a team lunch and go down because we were downtown. So we would go for a walk and go somewhere. But, that's a lot of time. And you get that time back and you can be more productive. You can just get your stuff done. And you can, I had the job that I had before, I could just listen to music all day. I listened to podcasts, music, whatever I wanted. And because I was reviewing contracts. I was reviewing life insurance contracts. So making sure all the T's or dots and the I's are crossed, right? But yeah. Mr. Biscuit's going for a sleep study next week. I can't wait to hear the results of that. Amy's going to church. We will see you soon, my dear. Have a good time. Be safe. And Kelly works remote, and I actually work more. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like that's one of the things when like some of the people who would work remote for that one of the job I was at the longest, if they were salaried and work remote, they felt like they were never leaving. They were never leaving the job. They would walk by their desk and think of all the work they still had to do. So that can be a burden. Angela does not like work from home. If I'm at work, I feel I'm available, and if I have work or not, when I'm home, I feel like I should be working. Yeah, I never really felt that, but again, at that time, I had my own office. So when I was done, I closed the door to the office. This is before I was doing YouTube, so I could just close the door to the office and leave and not have to worry about it till the next morning. I didn't have. I mean, I had a TV in there and I could watch TV and stuff, but I would be done. I would go downstairs right at 3:00. I'd be downstairs watching TV or hanging out with the family or whoever was home by 3:01, 3:02. Or if I slept in, I could work from 9 to 5 if I wanted to. We just had to be logged in by 9 and be working and work past 3 or up to 3. Oh yeah, that person. Yeah, he's never been in this chat that I know of, but he isn't welcome here. It's one of the people because he's not a person that he's not wanting to be a part of the community. He just wants to make waves and be a jerk. I've never seen him say anything constructive. Yeah, that's the one thing is like Angelo was saying he was really annoying. Yeah, there's no reason for that. There's no reason that person should be in any of these chats. If they can't behave and they're being like that, they don't belong here. This is for people who want to have open and honest and genuine and conversations and share their lives and encourage others and find encouragement. Yeah. Okay, that's good. She said I did stop the fast earlier than planned. Yeah, that's the thing is I've stopped because it's when I did a 21-day fast, but it took me like 3 times to get it. So I would get to like 14. I got to one. I did 14 days. I did a 15-day, and then I think another 14-day or whatever. And I would just kind of get to that point, and I hit like a brick wall. And then when I finally did the 21 days and I was successful, I had really hit the electrolytes hard in the beginning. Really, really hit. So I knew because I think the electrolytes is such a huge part of a successful fast is making sure you're well hydrated. And so I finally was able to kind of break that 21-day and hit 21-day fasted. I don't know if I would ever do that again. It was more one of those things that I just wanted to accomplish. I don't necessarily think I recommend it for people, at least most people. And Christy's saying hi to Sarah. And Sarah saying hello back to people. Yeah, what do you expect me to do? Throwing you under the bus. Hey. Let's not get crazy and mushy here, okay? Love you more. Oh, my goodness. Christy says, I'm 50 now and hoping to try to work it out to where I can retire from teaching at 55. It'll be 31 years in the classroom at that point. I'm 46. I'll be 47 this year. So we're not that far behind. So we're only 3 years apart. So, yeah. And I'm basically retired now. Karen is here. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, beautiful people, she says. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Angela says our meetings at work are remote, but most people aren't in the same town. Yeah, it was like that's how it was for us. But like, it was only like 1 or 2 people who weren't like in the building, and then there would be like, I never worked remote at that job, but we should have. Mr. Biscuit says I spent a third of my career in transit. I will never get that back. Yeah, that's the problem. I think that's the thing is like, but I mean, it's difficult for people to all live near their jobs or whatever. It's like, Chandra drives pretty far, like 25 miles each way to and from work each day now. I mean, they compensate her for that, and she only has to work 2 days a week. And Sharon says, I get this. I had been working remotely for a year during the pandemic with major increased productivity. And when they mandated I declined and I was let go. That makes sense. They did that to a lot of people. Then they've been rehiring people and stuff because they realize that they need the people now. Yeah, Sarah's very interested in remote working. I mean, I don't think that I would take a full-time position if it wasn't at least remote. That's what I was doing. I was driving for that company for a while, driving, people for the railroad. And while that was nice, that was about as close to being a remote worker by being out and away from your house that you could be, because typically I was alone for half of my job. I was either driving someone somewhere and dropping them off and then driving back alone, or I was driving someone to pick them up and to bring them back. So I was there alone, and then on my way back, I had people. But most of the time, they were asleep or whatever, and I was just driving. They were real quiet because most of the time they were getting off of a 12 to 14-hour shift, or I was driving them to a 12 to 14-hour shift. So typically, they were all pretty quiet. They didn't really talk much. Sean says, when I arrive at work, greatly depends on my gas gauge. Gas stands for give a shit. If my gauge is busted, I'll be anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes late. If not, I'll be 10 to 15 minutes early. Oh, my goodness. Karen says, I'm the one that retired in 2023 and went back, same job in 2025. Whew. Biscuit says, I had 40 plus interruptions per hour a decade back. We'll see. Yeah, for me, 10 years ago, I was like 70 plus. I was stopped breathing 70 times in an hour. So I don't know where I'm at now. Brenda Foley says, an advertisement came on this week stating the mold in our coffee is making us pee every couple of hours. Thinking of trying some mold-free coffee, may experiment. I don't know. I drink a coffee like a dehydrated coffee powder, so I don't know how much mold could possibly be in that. It's a espresso powder. I don't know, and I know it's the nature of where we are in society with where we are with the production and the processing that goes into all the food that we take in. But it feels like the deeper we dive into what ails us, right? The deeper we dive into, what makes us feel bad, the carbohydrates, the sugar, the dyes, the oxalates, the glyphosate, all the things that we start digging and digging and digging and digging, and we start doing our own N=1, right? We start experimenting on ourselves. How do we feel? What do we do? We start picking apart all of these things. And I don't know if there's an end to it. And I don't even know what it would look like. Sherry says, I'd love to work remote, but it's hard to do when you work retail. Just tell them, hey, I'm going to do this from home. Ta-da! Oh, my goodness. I mean, I imagine eventually there's probably going to be a thing where, we don't do that anymore. And I know there's a panic about that, a panic around that, things will all be automated. Eventually things will be automated to the point, a truck shows up, a truck drives itself to the warehouse, some kind of robot unloads the truck, puts the stuff away, the order comes in, a robot puts it all together, puts it in a box, then a robot drives it to your house. And I know that, there's the autonomous trucking, there's all these things that are supposedly on the horizon, how soon we see those things. And I know there's panic about that. There's panic about AI. There's panic about all these things. But if we think about history and what history has taught us, think about they said the same thing when it came to the printing press. They said the same thing when it came to industrial farming with the combine. The combine is going to put all the farmers out of business. And it revolutionized how fast you could farm. You can till or do whatever you need to do to 100 acres in a day or whatever, instead of a single acre in a week or whatever it would be, right? So but we've continued to find jobs and we continue to find work and we continue to adapt. And I think we'll continue to do that. I think where for me the apprehension is what will that look like? I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we put ourselves out of work, where there's nothing for anyone to do, because then nothing is sustainable. Because if there's no work for us, then we have no money. We can't buy things. There's nothing for the robots to manufacture and put away and deliver to our house. So it's kind of like how nature always finds a way, right? Like you were talking about, like, that line from Jurassic Park, nature finds a way. I kind of feel like society finds a way. We always kind of get to a point where we come to that cusp where we think we're going to lose all these jobs and people are going to have no jobs. I still think that there is something that we can't foresee yet. Or because, realistically, we can't survive if we don't make money. We have to have money to spend. Otherwise, the robot takeover doesn't work. If the robots have nothing to put away and nothing to sell and nothing to deliver, what's the point? They just sit there. So we'll find a way to make money. The transition might be difficult, but we always find a way. Just like I think for the last 200 years, when it comes to our nutrition, we've had issues and we've gone the wrong way ever since, the Industrial Revolution. Our nutrition, our food, all the things have gone in the wrong direction, but we find a way. We start to claw out of it. We start having things like this, these discussions, these live streams, these channels, all of us who are involved, and we start brainstorming ideas and talking about all these things. I don't know. Yeah. Maritza is here. Good morning, Maritza. So very glad to see you, dear. How are you? And Rick, Mr. Rick from Twin Brook Acres is in the house. Good morning, my friend. How are you? And everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Wait, what's going on, John? What's this? What am I talking? What is this about? What did I miss? I don't know what this is about. Mr. Biscuit did this, but I don't know what that is. Oh, okay, the John Stud guy. Okay. I was like, who are we talking about? John Stud guy. Okay, yeah. I think there's a thing where they want to be involved and they think that their behavior is going to get them more attention than if they're open and honest and genuine. I don't know. I tried to block them, but they didn't show up. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe they have me blocked. That'd be weird. But whatever. Oh, there they go. Now they're here. Yeah. Not playing that game. I'm not playing that game. They're gone. That's the first time they've ever been in here, and they're going to be gone. I'm not even going to play it. They've had all their chances in other channels, and they keep doing it, so they're gone. I'm not playing that. As I said at the very opening of this live stream, everybody is welcome as long as they are here for genuine purposes. If you're here just to be a jerk face, there's no reason for you to be here. Mr. Biscuit says, I retired in 2013 after 32 years in the salt mines. Oh, that's a long time. 2013. Whew. That seems like a long time ago in of itself. Oh, my goodness. And Sarah says, I was driving 23 miles to work, and it would take me sometimes an hour and a half to work. But you live in Texas. Very, very, very long, ridiculous drives. Oh, my goodness. Especially because you would drive from the sticks into the city, right? Mr. Biscuit says, Imagine being let go for exercising informed consent, something guaranteed since the Geneva Accord post World War II. Yeah, I think that there was a lot of things mishandled in that. And there's still definitely a divisiveness about the whole thing. And I imagine that everything that happened during that time will be something that we will, over time, dissect and study and dissect again and second guess, and will hopefully learn from. Hopefully, especially when we kind of get away from the idea of how politicized it was. Hopefully we can learn from that and say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? Where could we have made changes? Hopefully people smarter than me doing that. And Sean says, the reason Shell and I live in the boonies is because she works in one direction, Harry Styles. Anyway, and I work on the other. We are smack dab in the middle. Our drives are equal, except hers has more traffic. Ugh. Yeah. People are saying all the things to each other still. Let's see. And Rick says, I work the same way as Sean. I show up when I feel like it, leave when I want, work remotely when I want. I'm looking at retiring for good this year. Yeah. And I imagine you're going to probably visit Indiana a few more times. Brenda says, I met the woman that gave birth to me. She had very bad health. Incontinence was one thing I worry. Well, I think you can look at that, and I think especially the way that we try to discount things like that, we do look at genetic factors. People try to discount so much on genetics, especially right now because we're still in our infancy at understanding genetics. We're still in our infancy and understanding, and even the people that are playing around with them and doing gene editing and things like that. We are so far into our infancy, we have no idea what we don't know. But I would say that, again, what I hear over and over again from people who are much smarter than me is the fact that genetics they can set you up, right? But how we live our lives, how we fuel our body, all of these things really have a much more impact than we think, and causing these things to manifest regardless of the genetic markers. So I think that's something to keep in mind. How are you living your life? How are you living it differently than they are or were, or however they have so far? So I would say, yes, definitely something to to consider. But I would say you're probably, obviously this is completely in the dark and blind, and I have no idea who this person is, what they eat, how they've lived. But I would say you are here. You are doing something about with your own journey. You're probably in a better position to not have those issues and manifest the same. So I would say I would not worry, but I would be mindful, if that makes any sense, right? Sean says, we are allowed to work remotely, but it's preferred for us to be in the office. I would love to do full-time remote, but being a tooling engineer, they really need you there. I'm looking, though. Yeah, I would say definitely, if you can do remote, especially for little bits and pieces here and there and everywhere, I would definitely take a look at that and do as much as you can, right? A. Mason says, Dustin, then the USA looks like a third world country. I don't know. I don't know exactly what this is referring to, but exactly what part of the conversation this is referring to, but I think even the designation of third world country, if you break down what first world, second world, third world really has to do, I would say that, I mean, we have let ourselves go. Our country is not in the shape that it once was or where it should be. There's a lot of things going on. And it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on, that's kind of an obvious thing to see. Now, what is broken and what your perspective is can see different things, right? But I would say, definitely we have a long way to go to get back or get to a point where we are on a good path. We have a lot of work to do. You, me, and everybody. And Mr. Biscuit says the robot takeover hates me. Oh, my goodness. And Sean says the main reason I started out in maintenance is because they're always going to need someone to fix the machines that are taking over. That's right. The machines will need machines or us to take care of things. Yeah, it was all traffic, though, she says. Yeah. Rough. I listen to a lot of podcasts, listening to drive into that traffic and driving those hours and hours and hours every week. I was listening to so many different podcasts back then. Let's see. Sherry Lynn says it takes me about a half hour to get to work, but I luckily have been all back roads drive. I actually live closer to two other stores I work for, but I don't like the clientele at the other two. Yeah, we want to work at a spot that's not overwhelming. We want to work at a spot that's conducive to who we are, our personalities. Uncle Charlie is here. I got my CAC score back the other day. It is a 0. Fantastic. Bravo. Good for you. I have still yet to never get a CAC score. I kind of want to get one, and I'm also kind of afraid. Kind of afraid. And Cindy says, just a reminder, our live will be at 4 p.m. Eastern today, back on our regular scheduled time. Thanks for the warning, dear. Thanks for the warning. And Rick says, I'll be in Indiana from May the 9th through the 23rd. Okay. Maybe we get together, you and I and Lynn, and go to dinner or something like that. We'll have to see. Maybe go to Rockstar Pizza or something cool like that. Lynn told me to set an alarm for 4 to be certain I make it on time, Cindy. I love it. Oh, yeah, robots, no jobs. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if we can't afford, if we don't have the ability to earn money, how do we buy things? How do we pay for things? How do we not just, obviously food, shelter, but if the robots are going to handle everything, then they're going to be building things, and we're going to continue to be a what's the word I'm looking for? A society that revolves around commerce. We have to have money to purchase the things that they're manufacturing, moving around, and doing all the transportation of all of the infrastructure. There's going to be a reason for them to do things, right? We got to be able to afford to buy what they're making. I don't know. I have little fear that human ingenuity can take us very, very far. As humans across this history, across all of our known civilizations unknown, the things that have kind of come and gone without us really knowing about it, we have always found a way. We have found a way to survive millions of years. tools, wheels. We've come to the point now where we've mastered electronics. We're working on better and better fuel cells and batteries and how to do all these crazy things, reusable rockets and getting to other planets and becoming a spacefaring civilization. All of these things take time. But I don't see the people, no matter how greedy people become, them getting to the point where the 99% of the people have nothing, because then they have no way to make the money from us. Because without us having anything, then it is more likely that the 99 of us the 99% of us take back what the 1% has. But to keep us in a place where they're thriving, we're thriving, we're doing what we do, there has to be something. So we'll have to wait and see. Whether it's in our lifetime, my lifetime, our kids' lifetime, our grandparents, or our grandchildren's lifetime, that's still unknown. But I'm not worried about it. I mean, I have concerns. Of course I have concerns, but that's not what keeps me up at night. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be pros and cons to working remotely and at work. I didn't really see that there were too many cons for me working remote. I mean, nothing really changed. We would still have virtual meetings. We would still do all that. So there was no real, I mean, we virtually talked. We would chat. We had Teams and all that stuff, Microsoft Teams. So I didn't see any real cons. Now, I mean, I only did it for a year. Yeah. I did it for about a year. Worked for remote for about a year, right? So I didn't really have any faults with it. I would wake up in the morning, walk to my other room, log in, work. When I was done, I was done. And I could take little breaks, and Shannon and I could have like a little bit of lunch together or whatever. We could do whatever we wanted together, take little breaks. And because she was home, I was home. It was nice. There was no stress. I didn't have to saved a lot of money on gas. Didn't have anywhere to go. It was beautiful. I had zero issues with it. Now, I know other people are probably different than me, and that's fine too. And Charlie says, it's not bad. Yeah, zero, that's great. Zero CAC score is great. Should have been dead in 2021. Well, I don't know much about that, but I'm glad that you're still here, for sure. There we go. Jahil the Troublemaker is here. Hi, everyone. Dustin, behave yourself. I will not. I refuse. I refuse. Rick, set the alarm for 3:55. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Renee, just me is here. Good morning. Yes, how is Timmy doing, is asking Evelyn. Jahil, how is Timmy? How is little Timmy? Is he still working on Artemis? I mean, that's back. What were they having to do now? and Jahil says, Evelyn, everyone say hi to Evelyn, LOL. And Timmy is back home right now in the crib sleeping. He's a newborn today. I can't. I can't. Lance says, thanks for this morning, Dustin. Got to get ready for church. My granddaughter is being confirmed today. So whole fam is heading out. Well, congratulations. Enjoy your day. Be safe, and we'll see you around real soon, buddy. We know. Oh, how precious newborns are. Oh, my goodness. I love it. And Renee Leah says, I turned into a squirrel working remote. Oh my goodness. How that makes me question like what squirrel-like behaviors. Oh my goodness. Lisa, where have you been? Lisa in the Cult Jam says, good morning, everybody. Sorry I haven't been around. I've been busy with church. Well, we have missed you very much, my dear. Very, very much we have missed you. Cons, when learning a new program and when no one knows how to explain, working with coworkers at work can kind of work through better. Yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah, that's just one of those things, like learning a new program, new software. Yeah. That's like when I was working for the company I was with for 12 years, we were rolling out a new operating system, a whole new claim system. And I was like, I need to be one of the people that learns this first. I need to have time to learn this because I need to know this so I can be ahead of the game. And they were like, okay. I was like, I volunteer to learn this. Yeah. So I understand. Again, that was a job that I never got to work remote in. Oh, Renee, I can't concentrate. I loved it. I could just focus as long as people left me. I mean, there was nobody in my house, so it was usually pretty easy to focus. Yeah, Jeff the Fuss says, Timmy will grow up very quickly. Oh, he'll be in college tomorrow. Like literally, he'll be in college tomorrow, and he'll be shipped off to a nursing home next week. Jill won't even go see him. Rick says, back in the school in the 60s, we were taught that computers and automation will eliminate many jobs, but will also lead to other jobs for humans. Yeah, that's the thing is like anytime we see something that eliminates jobs, like the Industrial Revolution took and made so much more possible. We were able to do so much more. We were able to process so much like linens, textiles, all these things. And we were able to manufacture so much with few people, like, you know, the assembly line and all these things. While they eliminated jobs, they created different jobs. So that's why I'm like, what jobs will be created when we lose certain types of manual labor? Now, people talk about AI. Well, you know, you still need plumbers and electricians. And of course, we're always going to need things like that, perhaps. But we don't know over time how much, like, you know, how robots will, like, is it safer for a robot to rewire your house than it is for a human? Or robots to go up and work on telephone lines, or the people who have to go and change the light bulbs up in those towers that are, you know, hundreds of meters in the air, right? I have a friend who goes and does things and goes up to those tall towers, like the gigantic, huge, thin towers that they have to go all the way up, and they take photos up there. And I'm like, no, I can't. No. I don't like heights. It was funny last night. The granddad and I were watching these short videos of these people. They go up into hot air balloons and they jump off of them with parachutes, obviously, but like. They're like the guy's holding his girlfriend. She's like, you got me? He's like, I got you. She's like, all right. He's like, on the count of 3, and he'll be like 3, and he just drops her at 2, and he's just like, she just falls away, and you're like, oh no, woo, yeah. I don't know. Teams, chats, meeting, and such. Sometimes it just isn't the same. Yeah, it's not the same, but like for me. Like not having to worry about getting in the car, having a car accident, or getting in the car and being 30 minutes late and getting irritated because you had to have a talk with your manager or whatever. Like I could sit there and just do me and do what I got to do and just work and then be done when I'm done. Like, nothing's perfect. But I think for me, the pros far outdo the cons. Far. One of the biggest issues I had with working remote was we had Spectrum internet at the time, and there was an issue with our internet where like everything I did, I mean, obviously working remote, everything was internet. So like bringing in files and opening files took forever. So there was some issues with that. And I had to have them come out and work on stuff, or having days where my internet was just out. There was nothing, there was like a wide outage and I couldn't do anything on the internet. There was nothing I could do. Or we had a power outage or whatever, like the power went out and I was sitting there just waiting for the power to come back on. Or like, yeah, when the internet went out, I didn't even have TV. We have an antenna. When we turned that on, I was just sitting there in my living room watching antenna TV. But like nothing else to do. I couldn't do anything. So yeah. Risa is finally here. Good morning, Risa. Getting my coffee. That's right. Best part of waking up is coffee. Brian says the background noise is back. I don't know. Maybe it's this mic cord. I'll change it out this week and see if that maybe does a difference. I don't know. Let me know if that's better. Kathy says, I squirrel too. And when I say, why are you so slow? They keep track of numbers and such. Yeah, that's the thing, is like when they get to that was kind of another thing. Like they do kind of start looking at like mouse movements and all these things. It's like, why are you doing that? That's like, that just breeds of like, you just don't want, like, that was so irritating. Like when one of the main reasons I decided to leave the job that I had, I'd been there for a long time. I had a day where, because we would get an equal number of work, they would give us an equal number of tasks, but each task was not created equal, right? Each task is not the same. And then we had phone calls that would come in, and we were expected to take a certain number of phone calls each day. And I was a person that always exceeded the number of phone calls for whatever reason. My phone just never stopped ringing. And they had this culture where, you got to be available, take these phone calls. And even if you exceeded the number, they were like, well, you need to be available, but I'm getting all these phone calls. I'm not getting my other work done. They didn't seem to care. But like there was one day I had like all these tasks left over and I had a whole bunch of phone calls. And the next day, my manager on our little Zoom call, Teams call, whatever you want to call it, was like, so-and-so had that many calls and they got their work done. Okay, great for them. I come in, I do my job thoroughly. Did my job to the best of my ability each and every single day. But sometimes those phone calls took a long time. Sometimes that phone call turned into 3 other phone calls. You get a phone call, they need you to call their finance company. And that finance company, you'd be on hold for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe longer. There's just a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. So like that was kind of like the beginning of the end for me, where I was like, that's just such a petty way to look at things. But yeah. But yeah. Rick says, oh no, don't jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Right? JJ is in the house. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Walk is done, says Brian. CPAP 10 days ago scored 100 out of 100 with only 0.4 episodes per hour. So far, so good. I love that. I love that so very much. Sean is breaking camp and heading home. See you all later. Have a great day. Be safe, my friend. Risa says, my husband used to work remotely. He didn't like it. He didn't like working from home. Too much temptation not to work. Too much temptation to watch TV, hang out with us, like being in the office. And I get that. There is a certain amount of like, you get to be away from the house. And I suffer from that even now. Like the only respite I get really from I get to leave the house to drive the granddaughter to school, to pick her up. We have her weekly practice, her weekly game. I go to Walmart or Costco. There's not a lot of places for us to go. I'm home a lot. So there is that. Like if you work remote, you're saving all this time, but then you end up kind of being home all the time. And then, so I think that was maybe one of the detractors was I didn't have anywhere to go. And also kind of like that was in the middle of the pandemic, so there's no real where to go anyway. But even still, like I don't have a lot of places to go. Kathy says, so I finally have an immersion blender. Just tried it with butter and tea, ran out of coffee, working up to the egg. I can't wait to hear how that goes. Sounds like a good thing. Scott is here. Hello. Good morning. Platte River Keto. Good morning, friends. It's been a while. It has been a while. I've been seeing you doing your rock videos, and I've been kind of wondering where you've been. But I figured you'd make your way back here eventually. Happy Sunday. Walking my dogs and listening as usual. Truly appreciate you. Truly, truly appreciate you, Scott. And I hope you're doing wonderful. And Lewis is here. Hello, Lewis. How are you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, look at that. Where's Rick? Where's Rick? Quacky Quack Rick when I'm caught up with the chat and only an hour and 46 minutes. I don't do this a lot to keep up with the chat. I kind of just do this to hang out and make sure everybody feels seen and welcome. And, so that's where like that thing that we were talking about this morning where I put out information about the difference between beads and ground beef. And like, I don't want people to take things the wrong way. I'm not here to talk bad about people or make, I just want to talk about the things. And I don't want people to feel attacked. Definitely don't want that. I don't want people to feel excluded. I want everybody to feel included. Yeah. So, look at this. Thomas is talking about some stuff. I am back. I just made some burger patties coated with pork panko. So you made it some like, that's like chicken fried steak almost. Yeah, that's true. Dustin's caught up, so everybody start chatting, start putting that comments out there, ask questions. Let's go. I'll hang out here I like to hang out as long as there's activity. So it is kind of like a chicken fried steak in a way, yeah? Yeah. Cindy's asking, interesting, Thomas. How are they? See right here. Here's that comment right there. Interesting, Thomas. How are they? Are they yummy, yummy, yummy in your tummy, tummy, tummy? Tummy, tummy, tummy. Yummy, yummy. So good. Yummy, yummy in my tummy, tummy, tummy. Yes, I am not a full human being. I am partially a cartoon. Just in case you were wondering. Thomas says, good. Yummy, 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 tummy, tummy, tummy. I don't know what's wrong with me. I apologize. But I guess I will take a moment here and talk about some stuff. If you haven't had a chance to get some of these Granny Apple salties, go over and get some. The spring flavors are back with the Keto Chow spring flavors are back. I can do this. I can't do what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do things. There we go. Orange. Orange. You're glad I'm not this dumb. Then we've got this one. We got chocolate malt. And then we've got this one, the coconut cream pie. They've got electrolytes. They've got flavors for shakes and all that stuff. So go and take a look at that. Go and pre-order Chris's cookbook. Do the things. Go watch Cholesterol Code. That's in the KetoSimple.shop. The cholesterol code link is there. Chris's book link is there. You can buy Salty and Keto Chow there. Let's see. JJ says, I'm going to pull the string. JJ says, Tried making the keto cheesy bread last night, but found out the hard way it was one of those fake AI videos. Turned it around by adding a scoop of chicken soup keto chow. Turned out pretty good. So I've seen, like, I guess if you make like you're talking about like just the, if you make the like the Parmesan cheese mixed with egg whites and you boil them out and you freeze them and then put them in the air fryer. I didn't freeze mine. I just made mine in the oven and didn't air fry them either. But they came out like real hard and dense. So I think you've got to do it with like the freezing and all that stuff, right? But I didn't do that. So I don't know. I didn't do it the way the thing is. But I sent Cindy, I sent her so many things of the cottage cheese, 1 cottage cheese, egg, mozzarella cheese, 2 eggs, 1 scoop keto chow. Yeah, that is a bunch of hooey, because they're like, you can make anything from tater tots to French fries to an airplane with just some cottage cheese and an egg. You can make anything. You can make world peace with it. No. I mean, and I sent so many videos to Cindy just to prove my point. Just to prove my point. And Brian thought some pork belly to fry up today. That sounds delicious because you can't go wrong with pork and beef. What could go wrong with beef and pork? And then obviously Evelyn says Keto Palooza 2026 or bust. That's right. And JJ needs to order some coconut cream pie to make Nancy's pie. Order it from me, please. I haven't had any sales with Keto Chow in a long time. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my link is broken. I don't know. I don't know. And Cindy says she's got some pork belly to go in the air fryer in a couple of hours with our eggs. Sounds delicious. And Biscuit said, did Parmesan chicken wings yesterday with baking powder. First new carb in months. Stomach distress for nearly 24 hours. Lots of healing to go. Oh my goodness. Baking powder. I've never made chicken wings with baking powder, but I guess they're supposed to come out extra crispy or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the kind of baking powder you use, because I have some aluminum-free baking powder that I got from somewhere. I got a couple bags of that. Kathy says, my second order is on the way with the bigger of the cocoa, the cup, and the malt. Keto chow. I love it. There we go. Helen is here. Good morning, my dear. How are you? Hey, everyone. How are we all doing? We're doing wonderful, especially now that you are here. Yeah, JJ says, yeah. 1 cup cottage cheese, 1 cup mozzarella cheese, 2 eggs, 1 scoop keto chow. Woo! Helen says, I'm feeling amazing. Been doing keto the last 3 days. Feel brilliant and loving it. Well, I am so very glad, dear. That's what I want. I want everybody to feel good with what they can sustain. And it's going to change. Isabel is here. Welcome, Isabel. How are you? Good morning, everyone, from Montreal, Quebec. Welcome from Montreal, Quebec. I love that. And Thomas has sent me an email. I'll have to check that once the stream is over. And Evelyn says, we made cracked chicken, taco pie, and sausage crust pizza this last week, trying to keep the natives happy. I understand. And JJ says, your link must be, I used your link to order salty last time. Okay. Yeah, I need to go back in and check and maybe update my link, because that's going to drive me nuts if people are ordering and I'm not, like, people are going out of their way to order from me and it's like not giving me the stuff. I will not like it. Mr. Biscuit says, I can handle fermented veg, but not grains of any kind. IBS, IBD, colitis, diverticulitis in remission, but not healed enough to tolerate grains. Yeah, I don't know. I would venture to say that there's probably a good amount of that issue that's not necessarily grain related. Not to say that it's not grains aren't compounding the issue, but I would say that's probably what's like the glyphosate and the stuff that's grown into that grain that's causing the bulk of the issues. That, I mean, because like we survived for thousands and thousands of years with grain, and then all of a sudden we start having these major issues. It has to be the chemicals that they're soaked in and grown in and all that stuff. It has to be. And I mean, and not to say that grains are really all that great for us, because I think they're truly just, I think they're really, at the end of the day, survival food. Now, some people can live on them better than others, and some people choose to live on them better than others. But I think when it comes to people with colitis and IBS and Crohn's, I think there's a bigger piece of the puzzle there that we're not seeing. Maybe that we're not wanting to, I mean, there has to be something that's changed, because out of nowhere, we start having all these instances of colitis and IBS and Crohn's, and maybe we had it years ago, but like, it has to be something that we're doing and what we're doing to the grain, because we wouldn't have survived on grain for all these years if colitis and IBS and all these things were the norm with us eating grain. I think we have to start extrapolating and looking at this kind of information to see truly like what's the cause. I think we can't, you can look at people who make glyphosate. It's safe enough to drink, but they won't take a big swig. I mean, I think things like that are safe until they're not, which means they weren't really safe to begin with, but it's kind of like how they look at, what was it, like I joke about, like the advertising for Crisco. It's edible. Like, that's not a selling point. Just because you can eat it doesn't mean we should eat it. That's like regular, like chocolate cake. Chocolate cake, from time to time, probably okay. But just because we can eat it doesn't mean we should eat it. That's how I kind of look at that. Like, I just think that like there's so much going on. And yes, we need to be looking at carb intake, and we need to be looking at our overall, how things impact us. But I think we're overlooking the amount of chemicals and all this stuff too. You know what I mean? I think especially when it comes to the serious illnesses like IBS and all that stuff, I think it's crazy that most of us aren't feeling that. And I think when you start removing all these grains and all these things, it's going to be a lot better. But yeah. Helen says, I'm having chicken, asparagus, and cabbage for dinner later, but broke fast with bacon, eggs, and sausage, but doing portion control. I mean, these are all very important things. We eat a lot of chicken. We eat eggs, sausage. Portion controls is, I mean, I don't necessarily count calories, but I look at how many eggs am I eating? How many slices of cheese am I using? Because I've added some cheese back into my diet, because I go for a long, time without having any cheese at all. And then sometimes cheese just starts to be overwhelmingly delicious. Same thing with bacon. Sometimes I want bacon every single day. And then there are days where the thought of bacon makes me want to throw it out the window. So, I mean, everything that sounds fantastic. And JJ says, I've been doing the 2KK thing with drinking a salty at night and first thing in the morning. Had to get some liquid magnesium because one salty wasn't enough. Yeah, I think like we take a magnesium supplement also. So that's one of those things that that's important. I think, I don't know, I don't take it every day, but I try to remember. I didn't drink I have my salty here, but I don't remember to drink it every morning, which is bad. I need to get into the habit of that. It was one of my big goals for the year, is drink a salty or drink an electrolyte drink in the morning every day. But before I have my coffee, but the best laid plans of mice and men, right? Yeah. Evelyn, Rick needs your chicken recipe. Mr. Biscuit says, yes, it was a YouTube recipe. Baking powder was Argo brand. Just checked, no aluminum, but can't pronounce any of the ingredients. Yeah, I have to look up and see which one I have and take a look at the ingredients. And I'll post it on my posts and that fun stuff for us all, okay? People are saying hello to everybody. Put your link on all your videos. I had to go and find the multidiction video to find your link. Okay. I mean, I thought I had my ketosimple.shop link in all my videos, but I'll go and update that information as well. Thank you so much, Helen. You're such a sweet lady. Thanks for the support and helping me. You're always welcome. That's what we're here. We're here to support. We're here to help everybody. And Mr. Biscuit says, fair point, but I also ate that crap for 6+ decades, so who knows the toxin. I mean, it could be a thing to where, like, your body can handle so much, and then, like, you know, then it's like, you know, Popeye, I've stands all I can stands, I can't stands no more, you know what I mean? I don't know. Just one of those things, like, I don't know. There's just so much intricacy, and there's so much nuance in all of it. And Helen goes, why we go back to eating sugar and so many carbs as it's dreadful, but now I'm doing keto, can't believe how good I feel. That's the thing, is okay, it's kind of like, have any of you, and you don't have to be honest if it's about you, but we've all had friends who were on medications for, like, maybe mood disorders. Okay. And they'll take them for a while. They'll start to feel great. They're like, yeah. And then they start to get that idea that they don't need them anymore. So they go off of their medication without direct support from their doctor. And then they spiral. I kind of think it's similar to that when it comes to a lot of us, when it comes to our diet and our food intake. We get on a food plan, we feel great, we're doing all this stuff, and we feel unstoppable. So, like, well, why not? Why can't I have some chocolate cake? Why can't I have some pie? Why can't I go and get some ice cream with my kids or whatever, right? And then it hits us, and then we're kind of back to not necessarily square one, because one night of ice cream isn't going to be the end of it. You may feel crappy the next day because, again, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing, but it's often we see you're on a plan and you're eating well and you're eating good and you're feeling amazing and you're out walking and you're doing all these things, and then you have one weekend, a long weekend or a week or something where you have off-plan meals, and then you feel crappy, and then you stop walking and you feel worse and you eat worse and you feel worse, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where it just kind of continues to snowball. So I kind of think that that's where we are with that. And a lot of us, it happens to me all the time. I mean, I'm 100% guilty of this in myself. I will get to a point where I'm feeling great, and then the kids will come at me with something, and I'm like, I give in where I know I shouldn't. I know better. I really do know better, but I give in for whatever reason because I am only human and I am weak at some, I'm not as strong as I like to think that I am. We're all in this life, and we're all going to make our mistakes, and we're going to repeat our mistakes. That doesn't make us bad people, but I think, like, it is easy to just slip and go back into those things, and you feel like crap. And because you feel like crap, you want to eat something worse, and then it just goes and goes. And then when you finally pull yourself out of it and you can feel better, and you feel better, like, I don't know why I ever didn't do this, why I ever slipped up in the first place. And it is kind of a repeating cycle. So I don't know. I think it really comes down to the availability. And I don't think that I'm not calling for the banning of things. I'm not calling for the reduction of the availability of things, because I don't believe in that. I think we have freedom, and we have the freedom of choice. Hopefully, as we grow in numbers, as we utilize our wallets and we pick and choose what we want, then things will become cleaner. Like, there was a thing about Aldi removing some 40 different ingredients they aren't going to utilize in their food anymore. I haven't dug into that yet. I'm planning on making a video about it, whether it's a short or a long form or something. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about that. But maybe if we start moving things with our wallet, like as we saw, keto became very popular. And then when keto became very popular, all the products started popping up. And then as keto as a term started to wane, so did the products in the grocery store. I mean, you can still find the mainstays still are the breads and the tortillas. Those are the two main things that you can still find in just about any grocery store. But almost everything else keto branded has gone by the wayside. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some products that still slap a little label that says keto on it, because it was keto all along. Keto friendly, keto certified, whatever that little stamp of approval is, it still shows up on certain products, but it's not like keto bread. It's not like the keto or low carb tortillas. But I think there are still obviously things that were keto sort of adjacent or keto approved the entire time, but now they just have that little stamp on it, just so you know, just so you're sure. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's just one of those things. And Mr. Biscuit says GMO changed all plants and agriculture. Nothing produced in agra, no fruit or veg ever existed in nature. I think like we as humans have done selective breeding for as long as we've been growing plants. As long as we've been intentionally growing plants, we have been selective breeding. Now, selective breeding is a little bit different than hybridization and GMOs, but we've been making hybrids. Like we'll take, this plant and splice it with that plant and see what it gives us. Like it's how we get seedless grapes and seedless watermelons and seedless oranges and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think there's something to be different about that. Like, we find the better tasting apples, like the apples that are growing on an apple tree, and we find the best tasting one of those. So when we splice that tree into a new tree, and then we grow more apples, and we take those seeds and we plant those seeds and we splice and we do all these things. So I think we've been doing that for centuries. But when it comes into like the genetic modification, the major issues I think I see when we're dealing with, when I think GMO, genetically modified, or probably is just the glyphosate, the stuff that's sprayed on everything, the pesticides, the herbicides, all the things that are sprayed on everything to keep the bugs away, makes it. I mean, if you're spraying something on something to keep bugs from eating it, we probably shouldn't eat it either. I mean, if it's bad for them, it can't be all that great for us. But anyway. Yeah, 14,000 years of manipulating food, 4.5 million years of nature prior to that. Yeah, I mean, nature finds a way. Nature changes, and, I mean, we're no different. But again, we were doing it for survival for that 14,000 years. We're doing it for survival. We're trying to ensure that survival of our species, where we didn't have enough meat for that harvest, or we didn't have enough this or whatever. So we were doing it for survival. Now we're doing it for profit. And I think there's such a major difference for doing it. How do we survive versus how do we squeeze out the most profit from every bushel? But anyway, yeah. Brian says, paste is edible, but I never ate it. You know what? I don't need your highfalutin self that say you never ate paste. It was delicious. If they didn't want us to eat it, they wouldn't have made it taste like mint. Okay? If they didn't want us to eat it, it wouldn't have been minty. You know what I'm saying? That's their fault. Not mine, okay? All right? Yeah, there's all kinds of just ridiculous stuff they sprayed on everything. And Helen says, if you go on a holiday, it's okay to have cake and treats, but just get back into it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, could you imagine, like, and we talk about this, like going to Italy and not trying things in Italy. You never been to Italy before, and you would try things in Italy? Like, even if I go to where you live, Helen, you live in the UK, I want to try like real fish and chips. Is it probably going to be life-changing? Probably not, but I still want to try it. I mean, your breakfast over there, like with the beans, is not for me. No thanks. I'm not sure how I feel about black pudding either, but I mean, you guys have your cultural differences. I don't know. And Renee says, I taste the chemicals when I eat processed foods now. Boy, how my tastes have changed clean eating. Yeah, that's what I mean. I noticed that to a certain degree. But there's still times where my body's like, you know what? My brain's like, you know what? Eat it anyway. Eat it anyway. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I do it. I eat it anyway. And Rick's like, I don't have electrolytes. It's not what Rick's crave. Well, I mean, that's great, Rick. And I'm glad that, but I have to have electrolytes or I get all crampy. So I don't know. And she says, so stop eating pork rinds too. I've been very strict. I just actually picked up some cracklins the other day. Kroger sells these pork cracklins with like a red pepper seasoning on them. And I'm like, sometimes I just need something crunchy. Now, the other day I got a box of, not the high key. I got a box of the, and they're terrible for you. They're terrible. They're one of the keto products that's kind of still lingering, even though they're not necessarily labeled keto. Oh my goodness, what brand are they? Brand of cookies. I can't think of the brand, but they were on clearance. The box was $4. They were like the Catalina Crunch, like Oreo cookies, the regular old Oreo looking ones. I got a box of those on clearance for $4. Should I have eaten them? No. Did I? Yes. Was it the best? No. But I bought it and I ate it and I have no regrets. $4. They're normally like almost $8 a box. So I got it for $4 and I was like, okay, I've been good. Treated myself. Could have been better. Could have been a lot better, but hey, I made my choice. And Risa says, I drink one salty first thing in the AM. I have more late afternoon and magnesium at night. Now doing keto chow magnesium drops since they discontinued the capsules. Now, I imagine the drops are probably better without all the extra stuff in the capsules. And Kathy says, yesterday, the fam made spaghetti. My family's doing that all the time. I was talking about that Tuesday night. I came home from the grocery and like I walk in and it just smells like spaghetti and meat sauce. There was meatballs, which I probably could add some of those, and then the garlic bread. The garlic bread, oh, smells so good. Makes me angry. But anyway, I digress, right? So I just ate the sausage, basically just a lettuce salad and also mushrooms. Ugh. I don't like mushrooms, but that's okay. And Rick says, many people have made videos of my heart attack chicken. Yeah, I made a video of Butter Bob chicken because I didn't know who you were at the time. So, yeah. And JJ says, helps me stay asleep. I don't wake up as often. I was waking up 2 to 3 times a night. Yeah, I sleep pretty good if I'm well hydrated. I don't wake up. Sometimes I usually will wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. Like that right there when you wake up, just enough time to maybe close your eyes and go back to sleep just to wake up again. Yeah. Helen is going to try my chaffle recipe this week. Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you think. Super excited about that. Let's see. JJ says I use 10-ounce hot water, a splash of heavy cream, and 1 caramel vibe salty with about 1.5 milliliters of magnesium drops. Okay. Helen says I have about 112 pounds to lose, so I'm going to stick to this no matter what. And we're here for you, dear. No matter what, we're here for you. We're here to support you, and we're here for you. Pork rind fest, Evelyn? ? That sounds pretty cool. Herod, Ohio, this weekend, or the weekend of June 12th, Pork Rind Fest. I will have to look that up. And Target says, I understand completely, Dustin. And Helen says, I have more energy and feel brilliant. Can't believe it. That keto is definitely for me. Yeah, I think that's really, because I think the problem, with a lot of things, keto gets a bad rap because of keto products. Keto outside of the products, I don't think there's any issues whatsoever, provided you can tolerate, things that aren't just meat. You can have some cauliflower, you can have some broccoli, a little bit of whatever, just, if you can tolerate it, and that's what helps you sustain and be consistent, I don't see there being any issue I think keto in of itself just gets the bad rap because of all of the products, but those products are waning and they're almost gone anyway. Like you go to the store, they're nowhere near what they used to be. Rick says, I'm on a long list of supplements for nutrient deficiency and trauma recovery. Doc said I would feel better, but I do not stop. Said I would feel better, but do not stop taking them. Yeah, I think that's kind of one of those things. Like once you get like, I'm good, I don't need to. No, then you feel bad again. And drinking 3 liters of water and feeling active. Yeah. I've always been a drink to thirst type person. I'm always afraid to drink too much. Julie Powell is here. Good morning, Dustin and friends. Good morning, Julie. So very glad to see you, my dear. How are you? And Helen says the cheese she's eating is mostly feta and Dutch cheese called Edam. Interesting. Been eating a lot of just cheese slices. I got some white cheddar cheese slices the other day. That's very yummy. Mr. Biscuit says survival was a good jumping off point. Monetization of disease is where we ended up. Yeah, I don't think that's where we intended to go. I think it's happenstance, and they've definitely capitalized on it for sure. I don't think it's hard for me to think that as bad as humans can be, that we have electively got to where we are purely by greed. I think there's a lot of unfortunate happenstance that's happened that people have capitalized on. And hopefully we'll be able to figure a way to change it. But again, I think there's so much of this is entrenched with how interconnected government is with business, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's the food processing industry, whether it's pharmaceutical, healthcare system. All these things are so intertwined with it. You know, the American Diabetes Association or the American Heart Association, all these things, they're all kind of symbiotic to each other. Like right now here in Indiana, we are surrounded by states that have either fully legal cannabis or either fully recreational legal or medicinal legal. Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, and Kentucky. Indiana, not legal. But Indiana, the major pharmaceutical industry, the major pharmaceutical company, Eli Lilly, is here. So that stands to reason that they are going to be more likely to lobby that we don't have it. And then we're going to have these governors come out and say, well, we don't think, but alcohol is legal and it's way more disastrous and dangerous than cannabis is. And we still do that. Cigarettes are still legal. And they're far more devastating than cannabis is. So I think, it's not necessarily for health. It's who benefits from things being illegal or not illegal. And we understand why cannabis is illegal in the first place, because it goes all the way back to Hearst. Was it Randall Hearst or one of the Hearsts with the paper manufacturing? He had all he had all the paper mills. He had all of the forests and all the stuff. They were growing the trees for the paper. And then when the decorticator came out that allowed and made easy work of cannabis to make it into hemp, they decided to go and outlaw cannabis altogether. So you couldn't even buy hemp for a long time. Couldn't grow hemp. You couldn't do any of it because it was all illegal. The whole thing with like reefer madness and all that stuff. And I think we've not only done that with cannabis, and I'm not even a person who necessarily utilizes it, but I'm looking at that as a case study for what we've done to fat. How we've negatively talked about fat, but propped up sugar. Fat is better for us than sugar, but yet it's way easier to get sugar on a daily basis. We talk about protein. We talk about the importance of meat, of animal protein, but we have so much propaganda out there against meat to the point that meat consumption is realistically as low as it's ever been. And then we put protein numbers on all of our food, but we don't ever talk about the bioavailability of the protein. How bioavailability is the protein in peanuts versus beef. All these things. It's like the same thing that we were talking about from this morning where You know, we talk about the amount of protein in pinto beans versus beef, but how bioavailable is it? How bioavailable is the iron versus beef? When we talk about the water consumption to grow these things, we look at the water consumption it takes to grow almonds and avocados. I mean, even right now, avocados is one of the cartel's biggest cash crops. Not illicit drugs, avocados. The cartels are investing in avocados. So there's a lot of stuff going on. We've got to look at all these things, and then we got to say, okay, are avocados good for us? Yeah, a good source of saturated fat. Yes, but we have to look at the business behind it too. I don't know. There's just so much at play here. We're never going to get, I don't see how we're ever going to get where we're never going to get all figured out, I don't think. You know what I mean? Thomas says, paste is such a sticky situation. Indeed. And Kathy says, so, Dustin, you ate paste? Yes. And I was in first grade or kindergarten. What do you want from me? It tasted like mint. I wasn't the only one at the table, and it came with a spoon. Okay? I don't know what you want from me. It's just the truth. Okay? That's what we are. And Mr. Biscuit says, all processed savory foods taste like hot garbage to me these days, but candy lost none of its shine. I want to ascend to the Rick level in time. That's my thing. Like, I look at all this stuff, and I mean, like, you can't even go to the checkout line without passing all the flavors of Reese's and all the flavors of all these things. Like, you just don't. You just can't. I mean, then there's like, you're in line with all the chips and all the candy bars, and it's like, it's a never-ending barrage. You have to go to the grocery store. I refuse to do to have them pick my order because I want to choose my food. I'm very picky. I'm very particular. So I'm going to go and do my own shopping, and that's the only time I get out of the house. I don't want to just go and sit in the parking lot and have them put it in my trunk. I want to go in, and there's a guy, there's like the cashiers that I talk to. There's a cashier guy that I talk to whenever I go in there. Super nice. He's from India. And I get a chance to talk to him and kind of get to know a little bit about India. And, you know, he's here, and I think he's in his 60s. And then, like, he talks about his kids, and his kids are off at different countries and all this stuff. And it's like, I can't get that being at home all the time. I need some human interaction. I mean, they're tangible. There's nothing real about Oreos. They're not make-believe. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's nothing good about Oreos, but they're really there. And they are delicious. And I don't care what anybody says. I avoid them. I do a very good job at avoiding them because I can't eat just one or two. I'm going to eat the bag. I would love to be able to go back and eat like Oreos when they weren't so like go back in like the 50s and have an Oreo. I wonder what that would taste like. I wonder like how much better or meh it would be back then. I'm just curious. Rick says I need to do an interview with Butter Bob. I imagine I'll get around to it. I imagine I'll be on his channel, or we'll do a simulcast or something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. Karen says, I haven't tried a chaffle. I need a good recipe. I have a new recipe. It is in my videos. You can find it. It's like 8 videos down. It's only 3 ingredients: mayonnaise, eggs, and beef gelatin. You can use regular gelatin if you don't have it. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. And then Just Jason has a ton of chaffle recipes. Mine's pretty quick. Pretty easy to do. And Reese says magnesium helps me with my foot and leg cramps. Even, let's see, I get a weird pain. Let's see. Even with the magnesium drops, I get a weird pain in my foot at times. Keeps me awake until the pain subsides. Yeah, that could be any number of things, really. I'm not quite sure. And Uncle Charlie says, I used to be on a ketogenic diet, and the cauliflower and broccoli I used to eat all day long. I couldn't lose any more weight. I went on a carnivore and a white floor. Okay. Yeah. I don't eat a lot of broccoli or cauliflower, but like every once in a while, like a broccoli soup is good, or a cauliflower, like a cauliflower Asiago soup is good. Broccoli cheddar soup is good when it starts to get cold. I mean, outside of that, I don't really eat it much anymore. Sometimes I have like a real hankering for good buttery broccoli, but not very often. Lisa's back with coffee in hand, and Renee says, have a beautiful day, everyone. Well, thank you for being here, dear. It was good to see you. Mr. Biscuit says, however, or why ever we got here, industry will not tolerate change and will go hard if threatened. I imagine the thing about industry, as long as they can make money, they will placate us. As long as we are choosing wisely with our wallets, they will placate us. That's why we have to be careful when we start supporting products that get purchased by bigger companies. And if they start messing with that, then we stop buying it. So, like the Primal Kitchen. I loved Primal Kitchen. Was it Primal Kitchen? They had the buffalo sauce, and it had like a cashew butter in it. And they took that out because they were concerned with the nut allergy people, and they put potato starch in it. So, I mean, I have a couple of jars because I bought it and I was like, well, man. And then like the more I thought about it, the more angry I got. And we see that all the time. We see these, like Lily's got bought and they changed, and all these companies get bought and they change. So we support these little companies until they are big enough to get purchased, and then they change them to make them more profitable. So we have to be mindful. And like I get so much pushback with the videos that I make telling people to look at ingredients. Well, why do we look at ingredients if they're not telling us the whole truth? Well, they don't necessarily have to tell us the whole truth. But what we can do is still maintain and look at the ingredients and decipher what our boundary is. We have to understand what could be and is and normally in natural flavors, artificial flavors. We have to look at the ingredients on these products, and we have to make concessions where we deem appropriate. Now, you're going to be Lion Diet. You're only going to buy like local. You're going to be the Lion Diet person who buys directly from your local butcher, and that's it. And then there's going to be people who don't care at all. Whatever they buy, they just blindly shop at the grocery store. I think we need to be in the middle of that. We have to make the best decisions we can make for ourselves. Is me right now is buying Tyson chicken thighs the best for me and my family, like health-wise? Well, for the price, yes. If I had access to a better product for similar price, I would obviously make a better choice. Now, who knows what kind of hormones and all the things that they've done to that chicken. But for right now, with our financial situation, the cost of groceries, the cost of everything right now, going up and up and up and up, we have to make concessions. We have to look, okay, $1.77 a pound for chicken thighs right now is the best we can do. Is it the best? No, but does it mean our money can go farther than buying $4 a pound chicken thighs? Yes. So we have to do what we have to do. So I tell people you have to look at your ingredients, and then you have to kind of see, like, where's your line in the sand? Your line in the sand may be different from mine. You may have a harder out than me. You may be more lax than me, and that's okay. But I am very adamant that everybody looks at the ingredients, but then you have to make up your own mind. Like when you go to Walmart and you see their ground beef in the packages says ground beef with natural flavorings, you have to decide, is that something you're willing to deal with? Is that something you're willing to work with? For some people, it's going to be just fine. They're not too worried about it, and they're probably not going to see any real ill effects. They're probably not even going to notice a difference. But for us in our community, we are a little more choosy. We are a little more understanding of what's going on. We're a little more hyper-focused on nutrition labels. We're hyper-focused on ingredients. So we then look at those and we have to make the choices for ourselves. Just like whether we are, whether you're keto, ketovore, Lion Diet, carnivore, vegan, whatever, we come here trying to make a better life for ourselves, a better lifestyle. How do we thrive? How do we live together and make these choices for ourselves? We just have to make do with what options we have. It's never going to be 100% perfect because there's always going to be something tomorrow that we find out that we didn't know today that makes us like, okay, well, we've been doing whatever. Yeah, so Ford made a car that didn't dent. It was like basically like hemp plastic. You can make plastic out of hemp. It was durable, it was sustainable, and they didn't like it. And, so hemp, I don't know about the hemp oil part, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, we use a lot of biodiesels. There's like, I mean, I know I live in a there's more than corn in Indiana. Yeah, we also got soybeans. But I mean, every year at the Indiana State Fair, all the tractors that drive people around, they have these like tractors you hop on and you pay $1.50 or whatever to go around. They run on biodiesel. So I don't know how much better that is for the environment or whatever, but still. Carl says, our good friend Carl says, keto gets a bad rap, but not from keto products, which I think a part of it is from keto products, but from the doctors and nutritionists who are ignorant that talk crap without educating themselves. That's part 2 of it. I think keto gets a bad rap in our community because of the products. Keto gets a bad rap from the generalized public because of doctors, nutritionists, news articles, headlines. And then if they do take a chance on it and try some of the products and they don't see the results they think they should see because they're eating keto breads, keto wraps, keto candy, keto cookies, keto cakes, and all these things that have been around and have kind of come and gone, like smart cakes and smart sweets and all these things, they kind of come and go. If you're focusing on those and not real single ingredient whole foods, I think then you're not going to have the results. And then it wasn't the fact that you made the wrong choices. It was keto that was the problem, right? So I think, we see that so often. So I think it's two sides of the same coin. We have the people that listen to doctors, nutritionists, the news, articles, pop culture, all these things that talk bad about keto, but then also on the flip to that, again, the products in of themselves, people who do take a chance on trying keto, if they go hard in the paint when it comes to the keto products, they're not going to find the success or the ease or the sustainability or the consistency that they thought they might, and they think they failed because keto doesn't work for them. How many times have we heard keto just doesn't work for me? Well, what did you do with keto? It just didn't work for me. But why? Let's break it down. You can't really get a lot of people to do that. So they have kind of entrenched ideas going in, and then you can't really get any insight coming out. Rick says, don't lie, you spread paste. Not anymore. Not anymore. It doesn't taste the same anymore. Kathy says, don't lie. I didn't eat it. Well, that was the Elmer's glue. You put Elmer's glue on the back of your hand and you rubbed it and let it dry, then you peeled it off. There's a difference from Elmer's glue and paste. Christy says, I'm not picky, LOL, so I love convenience of porch delivery. Just bring me the picanha and I'm happy. Well, just because you live in a place where picanha aplenty, and I live in a place that's like a picanha nowhere's land. And Thomas finishes burger patties. And Lisa says, I'm the same way, Dustin. Why are you the same way? Let's see. I'd rather go in and get my groceries. It gets me moving, and people that shop for you never get it. Yeah, I want to do it myself. Let's see. Yeah, I chatted in there a little bit. Thomas, you had Butter Bob on. That was pretty cool. Butter Bob is going to low carb for better health. He confirmed that with Amy Berger, I think, on Twitter. X, whatever you want to call it. Risa says, Dustin, that is why I love working in a supermarket. Human interaction. Once I retire, we'll miss that. Someone said last night that the bakery won't be the same once I retire. Yeah. I mean, that's really how it goes, how it comes down. Kathy says, but in the 50s, people ate red meat. My mom still does to this day. Yeah, it's weird to see how things have changed over the decades. Because I remember like growing up with my great grandparents, they had cut back. They would still eat bacon, but only a couple of strips. They weren't really big on it. There was always like time. They ate a lot of beans. They ate a lot of, they were also from like the Great Depression too. Like the Great Depression probably really shaped how they ate too. Like they ate a lot of beans. They ate a lot of snap beans and potatoes and all those things. They would eat some meat, but it was never lots and lots of meat. Like we never had brisket in our house. We never had, it was never meat centric at our house. Maybe a couple of hot dogs here and there. I mean, even when my mom and grandma made meat, it was always like little bitty burgers, and they were always charred to death. They resembled the charcoal briquettes that we cooked them on. So yeah, I don't know. Uncle Charlie says, I thought we can't have mayonnaise on this carnivore diet because it has seed oils. Not all mayonnaise has seed oils. There's one major brand right now that really does a good job. If you want to be like carnivore stickler, then you probably wouldn't do it anyway because it's none of a seed oil, but it's made with avocado oil. It's about as clean as you can get. It's Chosen Foods. You can get 32-ounce container at Costco for $9.99. At Sam's Club, Hellman's has their own competitive offering, which is about the same as Chosen Foods, the same price, same size. I think the ingredients are relatively the same, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's no real cream and Oreo filling. It's the seed oil stuff. It used to be lard back in the day. It used to be lard, sugar and lard back in the day. A little bit of vanilla, probably. Probably hardly any cocoa left anymore. But but yeah, it's flavored seed oils. Yeah, you're right, 100%. I was being snarky that they are real. You can hold them in your hand. But yeah. Just trying to squeeze through here real quick. Golden Girl is here. Good morning, Golden Girl. Big food will not change. Too many satisfied customers. It's up to each of you to make the best decision for ourselves. Again, like I said, it's a slow process. But as this community grows, as understanding grows, as momentum grows, as we start moving away and people wanting, we start to see this now. They're like, with more and more stores or restaurants changing to beef tallow. Regardless if that makes a difference for us in the short term, hopefully in the long term, we should see more and more of that. It should be a snowball effect, right? Hopefully. But again, like food wants to make money. However they can get money from us, they'll do. They want their bottom line to be good, but if we demand it and we're willing to pay for it, they will provide. That's what we have to understand as well. We have to be mindful because once they give us something that we like, they are likely to change subtly over time if we don't pay attention. So we have to be ever vigilant. But I think the fact that food industry will provide us what we want. If we demand it, they will provide. Just like right now, there's a Mountain Dew flavor out right now, the dirty cream soda or whatever Mountain Dew. I think it's the first Mountain Dew product that doesn't have any artificial dyes in it. And I think Mountain Dew is supposed to be moving away from from artificial dyes like Red 40, Yellow 40, or Red 5 or whatever. I don't know the numbers, but they're moving away from that into more natural dyes. I don't understand why they could be dyed anyway, but be like, oh, it'll be cloudy looking. I don't care. Put it in a green bottle and I'll still drink it. I like I like the zero sugar Mountain Dew. Is it good for me? No. Do I like it? Yes. Does it help keep me on track? Yes. And Brian's Biscuit, Mr. Biscuit says support sounds like a positive thing, but when you consider addiction as a profit motive, it hits different. Agra, farmer, monetize. I mean, yeah, they're going to do it because we've let them get away with it. But as we start to come to our senses and we start to understand what's going on, our voices will drive some of that change. It'll take a long time. This isn't a single decade endeavor. This is going to be a long time coming. It's not a fix tomorrow thing. And Charlie says, I like the Wagyu beef from Costco, $19.99 for 3 pounds. That's pretty good. I think it was $25 now for 3 pounds or 4 pounds or whatever, but yeah. Thomas says he wants to go full lion. However, keep him going off plan. I need to have an abundance and just can't afford it. Nobody can. It's ridiculous right now. I need to have the cheaper meats like pork and chicken. Yeah, there's no way right now the average person can eat only beef. I just don't understand. Unless you have nothing, like, unless you are living like super, like meager off the grid type stuff. But yeah, I'm going to scoop through here because we're coming towards the end of this conversation for today, boys and girls. Let's see. Thomas says, I just interviewed 2 people yesterday and interviewing 3 more. That's amazing. Keep going, my friend. Christy says, when I was talking to a friend about keto because she said how good I was looking and I said my skin was glowing because of keto, her response was, okay, but I don't want that keto heart attack. Oh my goodness. That's the thing that's the hard conversations we have to have. And it takes time because you can't just retort and be a jerk about it. It doesn't work. Risa says, I use the chosen avocado mayo. I stock up on Costco as it on sale, mix it with sugar-free condiments, and make different sauces. I do read labels, but occasionally I buy one that isn't as clean. Yeah, it happens. Carl says paces and keto. I don't know. I don't think keto was a term really like that back back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Risa says, I too am in a picanha desert. Can't find it anywhere. Saw it once at Costco, but it was so expensive. Yeah. I mean, I remember talking to Russ, who's like, I get it for $7 a pound. I'm like, you're a jerk. Mr. Biscuit says, the fundamental reason that keto failed me was my underlying addiction. Addiction sabotages all mechanisms until addressed. In many cases, addiction requires abstinence to heal from. Almost always. Karen wants to go to low carb for better health. The closest event to me. I want to go too. It's a 6-hour drive for me, but I want to go. All right, I'm trying to squeeze through here. And JJ says, I've been getting the Primal Kitchen or Better Body avocado oil mayo from Walmart. Yeah, that's just the problem. It's like they're so expensive at Walmart. You're for like $10, you're getting like a 10-ounce jar versus Costco 10 ounce or $10 for 32 ounces. That's just the deal. You know what I mean? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and cut this short. I want to say thank you all so very much for joining me today. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. And, you know, just again, this week has reminded me of growth isn't about doing more. It's about doing things better. It's about tightening up in areas where you fall short, where I fall short, because you have to put systems in place and being honest with yourself about where you need to improve. Missing that live wasn't something I'm proud of. I mean, it's something I'm still thinking about because it's going to bug me until I make that up and kind of make things better. But it's something that I can learn from and something that I can fix moving forward, right? And as this channel continues to grow, so does the responsibility that comes with it. I want to build something that is not only helps us improve our health, but also helps others grow and share their stories. And be a part of something meaningful. 10,000 was a milestone, but 25,000 is going to take another level. And I'm ready for that. And hopefully you'll join me for that. And hopefully you'll help me get there and help me succeed and make 25,000 subscribers. On my way to 100,000, I want that plaque, okay? But I want to help people. Let's do this. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. Thank you all so very much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. And we'll see you Tuesday. All right? Bye, everybody.